thanks so much for downloading the latest episode of The Ugly Truth. Today, Paul and I are talking a little bit about Disneyland and school trips, and Daryl and I went on a trip to Anaheim ourselves. All of this plus some epic, ugly, and awkward moments of the week, Retail Hell Edition. Thank you so much for listening. ShopLivingClip.com. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
Give it whatever it wants so it will shut up.
Paula?
When you two grumpy old men are finished, can I have my steak?
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Ugly Truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. This is episode 426.
Sorry, I was chewing a piece of ice. I was trying to get a quick drink before I did it, and then little ice flooded in my mouth, and then I was just like, crap.
You know, I don't do well with ice chewing. I love to eat ice, but I don't do it because I don't have good luck with it. I told you about the time when I was an executive assistant at the radio station. Yes. And there was a big department head meeting, and I was required to be there to take notes for the president of the company, and foolishly and arrogantly had a glass of ice water, and I was sitting right next to him. When I took a drink, I'm like, oh, a little piece of ice, and I started sucking on it, and then I didn't chew it, I was sucking on it, and because I'm awkward and have apparently muscleless lips, it spit out of my mouth and went across the table. No one saw it except for the president, who then turned and looked at me like, what? Like he was trying not to laugh because it was really, really funny. And I was like, oh my God, I was so embarrassed.
We always mimic that on SNL. Remember Kristen Wiig's character, Gilly, when she was hosting? So we're always like, sorry. And then usually it's because Olivia, every time she does something, she's like, sorry. And so I showed her that character, and I'm like, that's you. And we're usually like, Livy.
Oh my God, that is so
And then she'll do like some
funny.
Nerdy, she'll do some dirty dance because that's what the Gilly character. And then like,
yes. That's Livy.
And then she'll be like, sorry.
She's such a good player.
She is.
I can't wait to see what Olivia turns into when she grows up. Like, I cannot wait.
Brian told me the other day, he's like, I'm scared for Olivia because what was she doing?
Really? I think she's going to be amazing.
Oh, no, I know what she did. We got one of those rotisserie chickens from the grocery store one night.
Yes.
I didn't put it away or something, or Victor forgot to put it away, or one of us forgot to put it away. And so it sat on the kitchen all night. And so the next morning I kind of slept in, and I got up and I was like drinking coffee, doing stuff. And then I went back into my room, and Olivia, we share a room. So she's sitting on the bed, and her bed is like her little apartment. And so
yes.
I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm doing this. And she's like, plus I have chicken. And so she lifted up her blankets, and she had a big piece of chicken sitting on a book. And I'm like, where did you get that?
What is she, a feral animal?
She eats in her bed all the time. She eats in my bed.
Okay, I get it. But why did she not use a plate or a napkin?
Because
why was she homeless?
She's an animal. I don't know.
She's going to make do? What is she, like a little raccoon?
She's always putting things everywhere. And so I'm like, where did you get that? She's like, on the stove. I'm like, Olivia. I'm like, don't eat that. I'm like, that's from last night. She's like, it tastes like chicken. I'm like, give me that.
Well, it didn't turn into a pumpkin overnight.
No, but
it's
I mean, she
chicken.
can't eat chicken that's 12 hours old that's been sitting out all night.
I cannot believe that she is not ill.
And so I threw it in the garbage, and Ryan's looking at me. He's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, Olivia tried to eat the chicken that was left out all night. And he's just like, Mom, he's like, I really worry about her. And I'm like, I know.
I worry about her too. It's like she acts like she's not being raised properly. Like, what is going on?
I would attribute it to age, but she's 10 and a half. It's not.
I would seriously start questioning my parenting skills.
I didn't do that because Ryan's fine, but sometimes I wonder if she's like on the spectrum or something.
No, she's not. She is a daredevil and gives zero fucks about life. She's just like, I'm going to risk it. Why not? And I'll tell you who's exactly like that. Our dear sister, Stephanie.
Yeah, that's true.
Stephanie will risk her life. She does not care. She's like, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to get a spanking? Okay. And then I get to do what I want anyway.
Yeah, and then she just absolves it all by saying sorry. And I'm just like, that is not a response.
That's not how this works.
That's just her answer for everything. And I'm just like, what is going on in here? Sorry. And I'm like, no, that's
oh my
not.
God. That's not how we do this.
She did something the other day, and I'm just like, what is this? And she's like, I fold. And I'm like, you are not Auntie Jamie.
I think she's a little comedian. I think you need to get her in acting classes ASAP.
Well, I have found a performing arts class that starts in January, but it's how much is it? It's like $300 or something. No, that's the Disneyland trip that Ryan wants to go on. I don't know. God, there's just
Ryan wants to go on a Disneyland trip?
At the 8th grade end of the year one, and
Yeah.
he'll be gone like 3 days or something.
Wait
like
a minute.
that.
8th graders are going to Disneyland now?
At the end of the year, I know. I went to freaking Sunsplash.
What happened to the water park for 3 hours?
I know. That's what I thought. But apparently
Oh my
there's
God.
a Disneyland trip. They charter a bus. They get a hotel room. And they go to Disneyland
Okay.
for like a day or two. And
First of all, that's what the seniors do in high school. That is a senior graduation trip. Most high schools, even when I was in high school, there was always the option of going to Disneyland where you got on a bus, you drove down overnight, you spent the morning, and you spent the whole evening in Disneyland. They shut the park down for grads and from all over. And then you go and you party overnight, and then you load up on the bus at 6 a.m. and you leave. That was the trip. This is like a family we saved up for 5 years to go to Disneyland trip.
yeah, it's a 3-day trip, but it's like for him, it's like $399, which is really not that bad.
That barely covers the parking pass or the popper pass. That's crazy.
I don't know, but I mean, for me, I'm just like $400. I'm like, that could take us 6 months to save.
Really, aside from the funding, I cannot believe that they are sending 14-year-olds to Disneyland for 3 days. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like science camp, but not.
Well, I mean, they went to that Alliance Redwoods in 6th grade,
Right.
and they were gone for the whole week? They went for like 4 days.
Yeah, they did the whole week.
But Victor went with them though, so
That's educational, though. That's an educational trip. This is not.
They were like in cabins and things like that, and I'm just like, there's girls and woods.
No. Oh,
and-
come on. Did you not go to science camp? We all went to science camp. It's fine.
Okay, I got to go once. This was before Mom became what she became, and then
Everybody only goes once. I went once too.
no,
5th
they
grade.
had one in 8th grade again, and I didn't get to go, so I had to sit in the classroom every day and write about the Constitution or something.
So you learned so much. That was the day I became a Republican.
Yeah, right.
Just kidding. So anyway, all right. Well, speaking of Disneyland, I don't know if you should do it or not personally, but I mean, if it was me, it would be a hard no for my kid.
Oh, really? Why?
I'm not sending a middle school gremlin off to LA with a bunch of their hooligan friends to wreak havoc on the park for 3 solid days in a hotel.
I guess I just need more details. So I told Ryan, I'm like, I need to read a flyer, know what, if there's chaperones or what the deal is.
I'm sure there is.
If
but
it's
for
teachers
me,
or, and what the ratio is, like how many, is it like unlimited or seats, or is there like
No.
a restricted number? And
they're filling up a bus, and then once it's full, it's over. I think it's stupid, and I would never send my 8th grader on. I'd be like, you know what, graduate from high school, and we'll talk, because this is not a reward for finishing middle school where teachers go to die. Okay, this is
Right.
This is not an accomplishment worth celebrating in this manner.
he's going to have to pick his electives here in like the next month or two for high school.
Yeah.
He was
Yes.
on the high school website. Okay, they have more electives than just wood shop and ceramics. Did you know that?
Oh yeah,
Oh my God. They have welding. They have, everyone has auto. They have home economics. No, it's culinary arts 1 and 2.
I hope he does it.
No, he wants to. But I mean, the electives that they have, like, it sounded like college electives. And I'm just like, what the hell? I'm like, what kind of podunk school did we go to? Or was it just
Well-
that schools are different now?
Schools are different. When I was in high school, we had auto, wood shop, a culinary.
Well, it was home ec, and then ceramics.
they called
and
it that, but
photo or Spanish.
There was photography, foreign language. I mean, we had all the electives. maybe you just weren't interested in those, because a lot of them were not segregated, but it's like boys really wanted these and girls really wanted these. When I was in 8th grade, I had home ec and I learned how to sew.
Yeah.
Like they don't do that now. But in like at the kids' alumni school, it was real minimal. They had eliminated a lot of like the auto shop and welding and all that. It was gone. They have art programs. They have a crap ton of foreign languages. Like a lot of people finish with 4 years of Japanese, which is really impressive.
Wow.
It's a hard language to learn. French, Spanish, obviously. I think there's even a Russian. And then there's a huge art program and there's a huge science program. And they're really inculcating computer sciences as an elective now. And so they're just transitioning the type of quote unquote electives that are available. I think it also is probably geared toward the school district. And if the school district you're in has a lot of kids who end up in a trade, then welding and auto shop is really huge. Like that's a big deal for some people, where they can learn how, and they fall in love with working on cars or welding, which can go into plumbing and electronics. I mean, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I would have taken auto. For sure. I told Dad, I'm like, I want to take auto shop. And he laughed at me. He's like, why would you ever do? He was like, I absolutely refuse to let you do that.
I know.
So
no, I
wanted to take French and Mom refused. She's like, I'm not signing the paper. It's Spanish or nothing.
Yeah. So Ryan's taking Spanish right now, and then but it's considered Spanish 1. So when he goes to freshman year, if he continues his Spanish, it'll be Spanish 2. And I said, that's actually really good. I said, because when I took Spanish in 8th grade, it was just considered 8th grade Spanish. And then when freshman year, I had to start with Spanish 1. And so I didn't do Spanish 2 until sophomore year. And I said, and I don't even know that they continue Spanish beyond that. And so they may have, actually, I don't know if they did or not. I can't remember. But
if what?
If Spanish went beyond Spanish 2 at my high school.
Oh, yeah. Our high school went to 4. Because I finished in Spanish. I finished with 3 because I skipped year 1 because I refused to take Spanish. And I was also in the dumb group for math, so I actually didn't get to have an elective my freshman year. So I had to do that. But yeah, so I went to Spanish 3 my senior year, but it definitely went to Spanish 4. And then there was AP Spanish, which Mackenzie and Malia both were in AP French their senior year. So it goes all the way.
The problem with Ryan is that, you know, he'll take the classes, but he has 0 accent and he can't roll his R's. And so I'm just like, you're going to be the whitest Spanish speaker ever.
Donde está mi lápiz?
Exactly.
Como se llama?
I'm like, Ryan, I'm like, can't you try and sound like you have an accent when you speak, you know, a little? He's like, how? And I'm like, well, you can pretend to have a British or Southern accent, you know.
Anything.
When you do it. I'm like, why can't you try to have a Spanish accent?
Yeah, that would be weird.
Anyways.
Como se llama? I don't even know what accent that was. Anyway, well, we'll put a pin in Ryan because I want to talk about that. As next year, we're going to talk about Ryan going into high school. It's going to be very exciting for all of us.
Yeah.
And let's hope Olivia doesn't die of some strange disease because she eats rotting food. She's like a little baby raccoon. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And by the way, baby raccoons have amazing mothers, but they just have to watch when they do something dumb. They're like, well, you're either going to make it or you're not, and I'll just make another one. I'm not sure.
Anyways.
Okay, speaking of princess, really quick, before we move into travels with Daryl.
Yes.
I saw this a couple of days ago, and I kind of just blew it off because I actually thought it was not real. Because, you know, people, like, they'll make videos of celebrities or whatever, and then they'll do something, and it's clearly not real, like they've superimposed or whatever. I don't know. For a joke or whatever.
Right.
So anyway, today I was looking at a bunch of stuff, and I saw this headline that said there's still trouble in Paradise in Windsor Castle. And I was like, oh, is this about Harry and William not getting along because they haven't been speaking since William got married, or since Harry married Meghan or whatever? I guess because Meghan and Harry are in.
Oh
no! Meghan and Harry are in LA hanging out with her family, her mom.
Oh, okay.
With the baby, and William obviously is with Kate in England, being pre-king. So anyway, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that Kate and William aren't getting along. Like, that's weird. Well, apparently this was a twofold thing, and this is where it's becoming a headline, is they were doing some kind of appearance, some do-gooder thing, and they were sitting at a couch. The two of them were sitting together at a couch talking to a group of people, and he reached over to kind of hold her shoulder or her, put his hand on her back and just being a little affectionate. She violently ripped her body away from him and continued talking as if nothing happened. And everybody was like, what? And then the children in separate vehicles.
Wait, this was Kate and
William.
Really?
Yes. And so I was like, what? And so I'm like, well, let me look at the video of her pulling away from her husband and see. So everybody's comparing it to when Melania ripped her hand away from Trump when he tried to grab it in Paris.
She didn't rip her hand away. She just moved it.
She slapped his hand. I saw the video.
Oh,
and so,
okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different time.
Well, there are several actually, but you see that and you go, okay, well, maybe she knows protocol. And she's like, no, we can't do affection in public. And this is not the time for that. But so Kate, like not even changing her tone or her eyes, nothing. She ripped her shoulder away and he pulled back like it was a snake. It was insane. I was like, oh yeah, they're fighting. I mean, they are fighting.
I wonder if it was completely involuntary.
When you're that angry at your husband, probably.
She's just like, don't touch me. I'm doing
She's like, are you fucking kidding me? You're like, don't take advantage of us being in public thinking that I won't do that. I'm sure.
I don't even think she probably put that much thought into it. She just probably thought like, don't touch me right now. Well, the thing is though, is the other thing too, is like when you have kids and stuff like that, you just don't even realize what you're doing, Like you're constantly batting away children. You're just constantly doing something. Someone's crawling on your lap or pulling your hair or climbing on your back or, whatever. And it's just like, it's like maybe batting off animals or bugs or, and he probably put his shoulder on her and she's like, not now, just get off. I'm trying to say something here, like, geez. And so.
Although I have been in a situation where Daryl and I are not, we're not getting along and it's always me mad, of course. Mm-hmm. And he'll try to like do physical affection in pub, thinking I can get away with it in public because she's not going to make a scene because most women have manners. And he's done that. And I'll definitely jerk my hand or my arm away and continue talking as if nothing happened.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh no, you don't get to take advantage of us being in a public setting so that you can somehow try to make nice.
She's like, I don't give a fuck if there's like a million cameras and, 50 children sitting here listening to me read a book.
And the other thing is she knows, she's well aware of the fact that little action is going to go all over the world and everyone's going to talk about it because this is their life and they know that's how it is.
So he won't make that mistake again.
He won't.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and you know what? Just for good measure, I'm taking the children to the luncheon. You can go with your security.
I wonder why they're having problems.
He took little George and she had the baby and
the daughter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder what the problem is.
I don't know. I'm not sure. What it is.
I wonder
Maybe
if
she's
the
just
strife with the brother marrying Megan has caused some more problems or something.
Or maybe he has premature ejaculation and she's mad. I mean, like literally could be anything. She'd be like, once again, I have to put on the toothpaste. No problem. I'll put the underwear in the hamper again, Your Highness.
Yeah, but they've been dating forever before they got married.
I don't know, but I mean, happy couples fight all the time, and it's always something benign and stupid.
They could have gotten into like a little bicker right before they got there.
Hell yeah. And she's like, you know what? I'm taking my children. He's like, well, I'm taking the future king. Go ahead. And
your royal highness.
Exactly. Anyway, so speaking of royalty, not really, castles, I should say. I'd say a few months ago, Daryl has traveled so much this year. He has shit ton of travel points with Southwest. Something happened. I told you I unleashed the tidal wave of Christmas spirit when I said, hey, no reason to wait until after Thanksgiving for Christmas. We can do whatever. Mm-hmm. So this year, Daryl has been given full carte blanche to do whatever he wants. Every room is decorated here. There's Christmas music playing all the time. It's just really festive, and he's so happy. And I like that.
I've banned Mariah Carey. I said I can't listen to that damn song one more time.
funny thing, we were on our way home last night and it was Mariah Carey, Oh Holy Night. It was not All I Want for Christmas. I was shocked.
She sang a version of Oh Holy Night?
She has a whole Christmas album from when she was really young where that...
I might be interested in hearing that version, but every time we put on YouTube or Pandora, or not Pandora, iHeart or something like that to hear the Christmas songs, it's always like, I don't want a lot for... And I'm just like, come on, I'm like, turn this fucking song off. So sick of it.
80 years from now, it'll be on the Christmas classics with Bing Crosby and all of them. Anyway, so we both have never been to Disneyland during Christmas. And apparently they just completely changed the entire park to Christmas everything. And we did not know that. I mean, we did know, but I didn't know to what degree. And so he's like, hey, wouldn't it be fun to go and see it? And I said, yeah, sure. Now, we had just gone in June, so it's not like I was dying to go back. Mm-hmm. But we had never seen, the Christmas stuff. And so because he has points and, we went for like nothing. And that was the only reason that we went, because we literally flew for free. And during the holiday season, that's a lot because every flight is booked. Everybody's traveling, especially from now until the end of the year. And so we were able to snag really, really good, well, no deal. We didn't pay for anything. We flew for free to LA. Or Anaheim, I should say. And we went through Long Beach, which is a teeny tiny airport that no one really thinks about, but it's only 20 minutes away from Disneyland. Anyway, so we decided to do that. We went to Disneyland, and it is full on Christmas. And of course, blah, blah, blah. It's beautiful. We had a great time. That nobody gives a shit. Everybody always has fun at Disneyland. But what's funny is all the people watching is really why I enjoy Disneyland.
Yeah.
We're walking through Fantasyland. It is Monday. And it is crowded, like really crowded. And so we went thinking, they said, oh yeah, it's really dead this week because the kids are still in school and blah, blah, blah. So we show up, everything's an hour wait. Everything is an hour wait. And I'm like, why are we here? What are we doing? And we walked, Paula, we walked 15 miles in one day.
Yeah.
It was brutal. And it was really, really, really windy, like gale force winds. They canceled all of the fireworks. They canceled everything. And people were so upset. They mass exodus left at 9:30. After 9:30, everything was 5 minutes. We walked on everything.
Cool.
And I said, why didn't we wait? Why did we just not wait until the night falls? Because the children tire and all the parents take their kids to the hotel. And then the park is empty with just teenagers and couples like us. And that's it. Now, we were so tired that I have never been in that much pain from walking in my life. It was also so freezing, and we were not prepared with clothing that I think my muscles were just tightening up. I was just so cold.
Did you have to buy Disneyland sweatshirts?
Well, the next day I had to, but that night I just bought a beanie because I needed something to cover my head because I was so cold. And so I said, I think we're so sore because we were so tightened up because we were freezing. And so when we finally got in, I said, I have to take a shower. So I immediately got in. I took a hot shower. I came out and I'm like, I feel pretty good now. I'm nice and warm and let's go to the bar, whatever. He has this look of pain on his face. He goes, I think I'm going to take a shower. So I said, well, room service will be here in a half an hour. You have time. The second he takes off all his clothes, knock, 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 knock. Room service. He's like, God damn it. I'm like, I'll get it. It's no big deal. He goes, you are in a robe. You cannot. And I'm like, oh, who cares? No, I mean, you know what they've seen.
They've probably seen people answer the door freaking naked.
Naked all the time. I mean, come on. People are pigs.
With cigarettes in their hand. Hey, come on in.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's your tip. And then they bend over and it's between their butt cheeks or something.
Exactly. So Daryl gets dressed really quick. And he gets the food. And then he starts having a conversation about glasses. He's like, I can't see anything without my glasses. So he grabs my glasses. And he's trying to figure out the tip. And then now they're having a conversation about how these two old men need glasses everywhere they go. I'm like, at any moment we can say goodbye to this gentleman.
Yeah, when you two grumpy old men are finished, can I, have my
Can
steak?
I have my sandwich, please? God. So we eat, and I'm like, so are you, you want to go down to the bar? He's like, I don't think I can do it. And I'm like, well, I can't. I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, my body's killing me, and I want to be in sleep now. It's 1 a.m.
When we went to Disneyland, okay, we didn't anticipate the walking. And so the first day, like when we really hit the pavement, we were trying to like be efficient about like the areas we went to and not like, oh, we want to go here now. And it was like clear cross, into freaking Fantasyland all the way from like, Spaceland or whatever it's called. But by the time we were done, we were all the way in the back where I guess it was Toontown, or it's not Toontown anymore. I don't know what it is.
No, it is.
And there's a train there. And we were going to take the train that was going to take us all the way back to the front. But the line was so damn long and the train hadn't come for like 45 minutes. And I'm just like, Victor, I'm like, even if the train comes, I'm like, it's going to take us like 2 trains before I'm like, we're not going to be out of here for like 2 hours.
You might as well
I'm
walk.
like, we're just going to walk. And it's just like the thought of walking to the front. And the thing is it's not even to the front entrance.
No, it's all the way to the street.
You have to walk, because I mean, walking to the entrance from your hotel, that's like already a mile.
It is a half a mile if you were staying at the hotel across the street.
And we were.
Just to get to the entrance.
We were staying at the one right by the Denny's. And so.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God. I'm like, I don't even, I'm like, can't we just call an Uber to come get us right there at the curb? He's like, Polly, he's like, we're not going to get an Uber just to drive us from the curb to our hotel. I'm like, why? Why not?
I know. It's true. So we walked, and Daryl walks faster than I do. So I start weakening, and I'm starting to fall back.
I just let them go. And I'm just like, eventually they're going to realize I'm not with them. And then they're going to either have to slow the fuck down or I'll just meet them wherever they get.
So we're walking, and suddenly he goes, what's the matter? I'm like, you're walking so fucking fast. I just can't. I can't walk with you like that. I go, I feel like I'm shuffling along like a toddler. I can't do it. And he's like, I'm so sorry.
I feel like my dad's grabbed me by the arm, and I'm just like dragging behind.
So eventually I'm like, I said, what are we doing to ourselves? Like, why are we doing this? Who do we think we are? I said, someday our children will have children and we will, for sure, accompany them to Disneyland. I said, but we cannot be. There were so many grandparents, Paula, that had little like 7 and 8-year-old kids with them at like 10:30 at night. And the grandfathers are looking around going, why am I doing this? I'm exhausted. I should be somewhere in a bar having a cocktail. Why am I here? It's freezing and it's late and I'm exhausted. My legs are killing me. And I said,
and the kids are probably miserable. They're like,
Well, they're pale. They're pale and they're just ready to find their bed. And I said, why are we doing this to ourselves? I mean, I've discussed this before. The reason that people do it is they have spent so much money to be there that they don't want to miss a moment of time in that park because they have spent so much money to get in. And I get it. We are not those people.
Well, the other thing too is you guys didn't have kids with you. So, I mean, you really could have made the trip like your oyster, the way you guys wanted to do it. Like, it wasn't necessary for you to be there, 14 hours that day.
Completely agree with you. And we both said that. We're like, what were we thinking? Like, why did we feel the need to be this frenzied about it? So anyway, we sleep, we wake up, he goes and gets coffee and stuff. And the next morning I said, listen, the idea of putting my shoes back on and going anywhere makes me want to vomit. I can't do it. And he's like, I agree. And I said, well, what time do we have to be out of here to check out? Is like 11 or noon. And I said, all right, fine. We have to leave the resort at 5 to get to the airport in time for our flight. So we had like 5 hours. There is an amazing little wine terrace in California Adventure.
Yes,
we wanted to go there. Mm-hmm. That's where we finished up our day. But we did a couple of rides. We did the Guardians of the Galaxy, which they've updated again. And it's amazing. It's just so fun. I just absolutely, Daryl and I love that ride so much. We laughed through the whole thing.
We didn't do that one because no one wanted to do it. I was going to do it, but
you should have done it. It's
by
too
myself,
bad because
I guess.
Yes. Yeah, you could have. Yeah, it's no big deal. But they've changed everything. They've filmed all new scenes and stuff. And so it's super fun. The inside's all new. And of course we did pirates and we did, okay, so here's the thing that we did on the day before we left. We're like, everything is only 5 minutes. For some reason, everybody left on Monday. So Tuesday, the park was completely empty.
Oh, maybe they just did like long weekends.
They did. And we were mad at ourselves for not thinking of it. We learned so many lessons about going to Disneyland alone. And so we decided, hey, Splash Mountain's only 5 minutes. And it's like in the middle of the day. We're going over to California Adventure to have our wine and then we're leaving. So let's do Splash Mountain. So I've been on Splash Mountain a bunch. And you do get a little wet. You don't get soaked.
It
you
depends
just get,
on
you
where
get
you're
wet.
sitting, Jamie.
No, it doesn't. It depends on the boat you get.
Okay,
And
I got number 1. And I got drenched. I looked like a drowned mouse when I came.
Yes.
I pulled up, my log pulled up, and the person that was going to take my seat, he was looking at me and he kind of giggled because he saw how wet I was.
Dummy 1 and Dummy 2 decide we're going on Splash Mountain. And so we're like, it's 5 minutes and we're on our way out. So let's do it. So we get in the boat and we're in the middle. So there's 6 of you on the ride.
Right.
There's the guy in the front. Nobody in our boat was fat. We were all normal, average looking.
Okay.
But the guy in the very front and his wife were like 6 feet tall. They were really tall, runner looking people.
Okay.
Then it was me, shrimpy little plug, Daryl, and then an older woman our mother's age, and then her grandson. And that's who was on our boat.
Mom would never do that.
I can't imagine she would.
She's
So we get going.
afraid of heights. I just don't see
Oh my
it.
God, she'd faint. So we get going and we immediately all realize that our boat is tilting to the right. And we're like, why? We're on a track. It's not even meant to do that. It's not like we can fall over. But the thing is leaning to the right. And so suddenly we make a gentle turn and a wave of water comes over all of us.
Oh, no.
Our entire right shoulders are all soaked. Daryl's leg, my leg, my shoe, everybody in front of us, we're soaked from our whole right side is completely drenched in water.
Had you even gone down the first mini hill?
No, we had just made a turn. And so I'm like, I go, what is going on? I go, are we all too light? Is it where the weight distribution is too even and we're just like floating along? And the lady in front of me goes, I think that's what it is. And I'm like, oh my God. So she and her husband put their hoodies on over their heads and they tighten it. And he puts his backpack under his sweatshirt because he's like, we're fucked. Because now we know we're fucked.
Uh-oh.
So we go up, we go down a couple, and Paula, I have never been this wet in my life. We got so wet. And I said, what are we doing? And so finally, we hadn't even gotten to the big finale.
Oh, God.
So we go all the way up. And I said, I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. And so we go down the funnel. I got hardly wet at all.
Oh, okay.
But the guy in front, he had, like you, an entire wave of water came over him. And he was soaked from head to toe. He was so shocked by the coldness and how wet he was. He stood up in the middle of the ride.
Oh my God.
He stood up and he's like, what the fuck? He was so wet. His wife stopped laughing. She covered her mouth and she's like, oh no. And he's like, honey, our phones. Like, he was soaked.
Oh my God.
We pull up and we are 6 little drowned rats. We pull up and the guy who works there, he looks up, he goes, so how was it? And I looked at him my way. I had this big like Mr. Bill O face. I was like, oh, like that.
Yeah.
He goes like, I know, right? And I'm like, I fucking hate you. You knew this, but they know the ride boats. They know
probably
which
have
one.
numbers on them. They're just like, oh, they got number 8.
They got 8. So we get off. I mean, we were laughing about it because it's your fault for getting on the boat.
God, were those the clothes you guys were going to wear on the airplane?
Yes. And he goes, we're just going to have to go shopping. And I said, yeah. So I was soaked. So I was wearing workout pants, like, like stretchies, but they were dry wicking. So the moisture was not really on my body, but my pants were wet.
Yeah.
Daryl was wearing jeans and he looked like he'd like put his leg in a pool and that was it, And so he goes, well, I don't know. We can try to see if they'll dry. But I mean, obviously we have clothes in our luggage, so we can just change if we need to. But I had no extra shirts. I decided to actually pack accordingly. So I had nothing extra. And so I said, I need to buy at least a sweatshirt because I'm absolutely freezing. Right. It's only like 50 degrees. And so I bought a sweatshirt, not a hoodie or an ugly one. It was one that I actually liked that I was looking at. And Daryl goes, I think I have to see that on you before you buy it. And I go, why? Do you think it's ugly? He goes, well, I don't know. So from then on, it was the ugly jersey. And I said, well, I want the ugly jersey. And he's like, it's not ugly. I just, and I'm like, it's too late. I get it. You don't like messy buns and you don't like the ugly jersey. I'm going to wear both on the days that I'm mad at you.
Yeah, right.
Forever. So you'll know now when I'm wearing the ugly jersey.
When you come home or whatever and I've got this on, nothing's going to happen tonight.
That's right. If I'm wearing the ugly Disneyland jersey and my hair's in a messy bun, oh, you are screwed. So that's how that goes. But anyway, so we did finish the trip. But some of the things that I noticed was there was a lot of little ones, like little preschool age. and a lot of little young couples with their little young children. And you can tell fairly quickly who is getting away with what and all of that. There was a little child at the airport who was maybe 1.5 feet tall. He might have been 2. He was so little. And he was running around like a crazy person. His grandfather got on the plane first, and he was not happy about that. And when these kids, have you seen those little children who cry and their mouths are half their face when they cry?
Yes.
Like their whole face opens up to a mouth. That's what he was doing. And he was screaming at the top of his lungs. We weren't even on the plane yet. So the mom picks him up and she's like, oh, look it. And she starts to distract him along the airport.
Redirection.
And so they get on the plane and he gets his own little seat. He's in the aisle seat and they're in the front. Thank God. We went in the back. And so we were sitting in the back because they deplaned from both sides in Long Beach.
Oh, okay.
So you can leave on the back. So it doesn't matter where you sit.
Yeah.
And so we were midway through the flight, and it's a really fast flight. It's like an hour max. And so
still a flight, though.
Oh, please. I know. Trust me. I had a massive anxiety attack last night on the way home. But anyway, I can hear him wailing, screaming. And he's not just crying. He's furious. And he's screaming. And I meant, man, I'm so glad I'm not up there. And I said, I don't understand why they don't Benadryl that thing. Like, why are they even putting themselves through this? This is insane. Just for the love of God, give it drugs. And let it go to sleep, and everybody's happier.
Or
but
give
no,
it
they
candy,
didn't.
or give it an electronic, or don't give it wood toys that don't have plastic on it. Give
it whatever it wants, so it will shut up. That's all I'm asking. And so
anything,
and the whole look, babies cry. That's just the way it is. It's the air pressure. I'm like, I give 0 fucks. Give it drugs.
Then give
and
it
let
a
it go
piece
to
of
sleep.
gum. I mean, my God.
Anything. And so Daryl's like, it, and I said, I don't know what it is. What if it's a little girl? We don't know. I mean, I don't care. It's a screaming child, and I want it to stop. That's all I'm saying. So there was that. There was the screaming children. But there were a lot of men and women at Disneyland who were picking their nose and eating it. Okay. Grown-ass adults.
You really could have warned me before you said that.
Why?
Because that's disgusting.
I know. Well, what was funny is we were walking, and all of a sudden I saw a guy digging it knuckle deep in his nose, and then he opens his mouth up wide like the child and sticks his finger in it and eats it like he's eating cake batter. It was the grossest thing I'd ever seen. And then like an hour later, I saw a woman do it. A woman! And I was like, okay, what is this new? Is this a new thing that we're just doing? We're just going to do all of our private habits anywhere we want now? Like, I couldn't believe it. I said, this is, if you are into human psychology, if you're into the what is that? Human behaviorists. Go to Disneyland for a week. That's all you need to know. It's all there. And we're sitting there and I'm eating a salad and we're sitting there having lunch. And I said, I hope that when I go home, I don't read something about being exposed to measles or something while we're here, because it happens all the time where they go, so-and-so, somebody came to Disneyland and exposed everyone to measles.
Well, I mean, it was literally last week that they said if you were at LAX between like 1 and 4 on Wednesday, that someone had measles or something like that.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, I mean, with the way people treat their bodies, their bodily functions, just rubbing and touching everything, I mean, it's enough to make you gag.
Jamie,
really.
Do you know how many times a day I have to tell Olivia to wash her hands?
Well, Olivia the raccoon? No, I'm not surprised.
She'll come up
all,
and
actually.
give me a hug or something, and she'll just I'll feel a grub hand touch my arm, and I'm like, Olivia, when's the last time you washed your hands? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, just go wash them.
Yeah.
Please.
It's true.
Use soap.
Yeah. And then some of the other funny things where we were waiting in line to get on the Snow White ride, which ultimately broke down and we didn't get on it. There was a family behind us and the little boy hadn't been on Snow White before, but you see the scary witch in the picture, on the mural when you're waiting in line. And all of a sudden I hear out of nowhere, no, honey, there's no zombies on this ride. It's fine. It made me laugh. I'm like, what? Somebody watches Walking Dead in their house. He's walked in and seen it. But anyway, there was so many cute little kids. Daryl and I were just like, why do we keep talking about our children? Like, whenever we go to Disneyland with any of our kids, we never see them unless they're hungry. Yeah. That's the only time we ever see them. They don't want nothing to do with us. So it's like, why do we keep wishing that they were here? Because it doesn't matter. So at some point, I texted all of them and I said, when Malia turns 21, we're all going to Disneyland together and we're all doing the princess experience where they give you the updo and the princess makeup and all that stuff. They're like, that's a hard pass. No, None of us are doing it. But we'll go to Disneyland. I said, no, we're doing it. You're doing it. If we make you do it, you will do it.
Or just do a spa day at one of the resorts.
Ugh, God, never. But anyway, we are so tired. So Daryl wakes up this morning. He has a 7 a.m. call. And so I get up at like 8 and he comes in and he shuts the door. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And he goes like, nothing. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, no, I just wanted to say hi. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, well, I couldn't sleep last night because my inner thigh hurt. And then it went up to my right testicle. And I was very concerned. I was very worried. And I said, well, we literally walked your balls off in 24 hours. We ended up walking like 24 miles.
Wow.
And I said, your body is screaming at you. We are not, I said, we are old. We have no business doing what we did. We're not those people anymore. We have to stop this. We have to lollygag around, do a couple rides, and then have a cocktail and resort living only. This is us. This is who we are now.
Well, you can't spring that kind of exercise on your body.
You can't. So we did a little Christmas shopping for the kids, and then we hightailed it out of there. And yeah, I had a really weird anxiety attack. It was strange. I don't know. I normally don't get that anxious on flights, and it was a super smooth flight. But I was really desperate to get home. I was so tired, and I think that's why I was just was so depleted that I just couldn't wait to get home.
Yeah.
And then I get home to boxes and boxes of Amazon because I did a bunch of shopping right before we left, and they all arrived at once. So I have this pile of boxes that I have to go through now.
Well, good for you. At least you actually ordered something. See, that's my problem is I have everything on a wish list ready to order, but
right.
I just have to configure what is going to go on what credit card because I have to diversify the items.
Right.
And so
right.
that's going to be a little project. But I didn't realize that time is slipping away so quickly.
It is. It's so fast. And Daryl and I were talking about that. I said, my God. I'm like, what happened? It was Thanksgiving and now we have 7 days until Christmas. What is up? And I said, you know what it is Thanksgiving was late this year. It was a week and a half later than normal.
Yeah, you know what it was? It was well, it was the last week of November.
Normally it's the 23rd or the 24th. And this year it was the 28th or 29th. So it was a week late. And so there was not as much time in between where most people have 5 weeks. I mean, 1 week later and it feels like the whole world is falling apart.
Right.
It's insane. But luckily I haven't had to do too much retail shopping where I have to go out and talk to people. Most of it I can do online, thank goodness.
I'm doing everything on Amazon. Well, actually, I was going to try and do other stores, but to be perfectly honest, with the Prime, the shipping is what makes the difference because
it really does.
Unless you
can get it in a day.
Unless you can, and not just that, but unless you can get free shipping, most places they'll charge you between $9 and $11 for shipping, and I'm just that's just
right. Even
if it's cheaper than Amazon, it really isn't because with the shipping, it's just too expensive. So
what I have come to find is if I go to a site of a product that I want to buy, I will Google it, and it's for sure they have an Amazon store.
Yeah.
Always. I've always found, I'm like, oh, this really cool whatever. And then I wonder if they have an Amazon store. And so I'll go and I'll search it in Amazon, and sure as shit, there it is. And I'm like, oh, see, Prime, I can get it tomorrow instead of waiting 5 to 7 days.
Right.
Which is really nice. All right. So we're running out of time already because I knew we would because we haven't spoken in a whole 5 days. And so it's time for our Ugly and Awkward Moments of the Week, Retail Hell Edition. Since we're talking about shopping for Christmas, we can't forget about the people that actually have to work in the retail world. Like my daughter who works for American Eagle right now. I don't know if they're going to keep her on afterwards. I don't know. She just has zero retail experience. And although she looks the part and she's the perfect age and all that stuff, when you don't have there's something, and you know this because you worked in retail, you have to be pretty quick. You have to think fast, move fast. Retail is very much like food. You have to move quickly.
Well, you cannot be slow. Have a tenacity and, Yeah, I mean, just to
Right.
drive to do it. And
There's just something about retail and food service where you can be graceful, but you need to move your ass. There is no lollygagging.
well,
It's like,
with artists, I can see how it would be difficult because they're used to
Yes.
taking their time to make things perfect and all that
right.
stuff.
So exactly. So Malia has 2 jobs, one in a cafe and then one in retail for American Eagle. Both jobs have given her constructive criticism in a very kind way that she's too slow, that she needs to move. And she actually, it's funny that you say that. She even said that. She goes, well, I'm just trying to make it perfect. And they're like, that's fine. Faster.
Right.
That's all we're asking. Be fast. Like, they don't put her on register ever.
Oh.
She can't do it. She's too slow.
See,
It's
I've
just too
always
slow.
been on register.
Me too. Me too. I'm really fast on it. Anyway, okay, so here's some stories from retail hell, and I thought these were actually kind of funny. First one, this actually happened today. I was helping a young couple select a washer and dryer for their new home. At one point, the husband stepped away to go to the bathroom. Why do men... They wait till they go to a store to poop. Why? I don't get it.
They're just like children.
It's true. The wife asked me to give her a minute to think, so I walked around to see if anybody else needed help for a minute, and then I went back towards where the wife was. I was a couple of feet away from her. I could see she was on the phone, and she didn't see me coming. So I was just standing back politely waiting. And I guess she saw me in her peripheral because she reached her hand out towards mine and held my hand and then took 5 steps walking back towards the washer and dryer, not realizing I wasn't her husband. She turned and stared at me for what seemed like 3 seconds. She turned beet red, walked away, didn't make the sale. It was insanely awkward. And they walked out of the store.
I would think so.
I can't. Well, I have done that many times.
You've held someone else's hand?
Well, no, but the one time at Trader Joe's, it was really super crowded. And I was mad at Daryl that day already. And he had walked off to go get something. And I didn't know because I had a handful of things. I was grabbing a bunch of stuff. And I went to turn to put it in the basket. And I turned and I said, where did you go? And it was a dude.
I see.
And he's like, I'm not your husband. And I'm like,
no,
you're not. You are not. He goes, sorry. And he walks off and he found his wife and he did not leave her side for the rest of the visit.
It's funny that he knew that you were actually looking for your husband. It
Of course.
probably was just based on what you were saying and your tone.
I'm sure. It was so awkward. Anyway, okay, here's the next one. This one actually, maybe you can shed some light on this since you've worked in retail. At Best Buy, someone did a large number 2 in the urinal. We spent an hour going over job descriptions to see who was responsible for cleaning it.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Has that happened?
Well, no, because usually I don't know what we've done. I don't think I've had that happen. One time I worked at a job. I was a temp and I was friends with the safety department, and the maintenance team had called because they thought there was a biohazard in the bathroom. And I was talking to the safety team, and later he's just like, someone just left a hot lunch on the toilet.
Ew. Gross.
So
Yeah,
I'm like, that's really disgusting.
It is really disgusting. When I worked at a pizza place, the bathrooms had to be cleaned by the closing crew. And if there was ever any situation during the day, if something bad happened in the bathroom, the lowest man on the totem pole had to be the one to go clean it up. Mm-hmm. Only once did I have to deal with a poop incident in a bathroom at a round table. And by the way, really gross, where it looked like someone rubbed their ass on the wall. Like, why do people do that? I don't understand.
I remember one time going to one of the games at the high school where you were cheering at. It was actually at our high school. And someone had left like a pad like next to the toilet, but there was a turd on it. And so I was just like, I'm like, did you not understand like the concept of pads? Or people are freaking weird. I don't get it.
Well, they're just so gross. And what makes me wonder is, what are they like at home if they do shit like that in public?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening at their house that they think that this is fine?
It's
I don't
true.
understand it. Okay, number 3, and then we'll be done. This one was really funny. It said, I had a customer walk into my store with a walker, and they left without it. It turns out our store also sells miracles.
Oh, God.
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
Anyway, those are the retail editions of Ugly and Awkward Moments of the Week. If you have any, submit to uglytruth@gmail.com or our website, uglytruth.com.
Very, very
you
good.
You can contact us.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. There is still time to do your shopping and to join Amazon Prime and get your 2-day or 1-day or whatever kind of shipping they have available. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and go to uglytruth.com. Click on the Amazon button. We always appreciate that. You may not have time from lipandclip.com unless you pick expedited shipping. But still, if you're going to not see family until maybe New Year's or something, then, you could probably still do some shopping there. Other than that, we will see you on Sunday. Until then, have a good rest of your week.